Welcome back to another one, guys. I just inhaled my spit. Anyways, in this video, guess what we're going to be doing? We are going to make a wall of blocks. We are going to make a wall with every single Minecraft block on it. We might have to split it into a part 2. I don't know. It's gonna take a long time. Anyways, it's gonna be a long time. A really long time. Anyways, let's get started. So, first thing, I'm just gonna clear my hotbar. Next, I don't really have a place to do it besides the runway. The runway has become a place to experiment. I don't know. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, it only takes up, like, a couple blocks. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, no, seriously, I actually don't need a runway this wide. I could literally, like, cut it in half, and it would be fine. I don't need that much runway. So, I'm going to be making it on this side. So, because I'm not making the wall itself out of every single block, but I'm going to make a wall as long as the runway out of a certain material, and then I'm going to place down every single block in Minecraft, not to be confused with every single placeable item. Those we can do separate in a different video. But for now, we are going to do this for no exact reason at all. Just thought of it. So what I want to do is I want to make the wall out of, okay, I want to make it out of one of the first blocks that were ever in Minecraft. And right away you think of dirt, right? Well, think about how, that's why I said one of the first blocks. Think about how bad dirt would look as a wall. So I'm deciding to go with oak planks, because those used to be just the only planks. They used to be called wooden planks instead of oak planks, because there was no other wood. You know, there wasn't any other wood besides oak. So that's what I'm going to make the wall out of. And then that's why it takes up 2 blocks, technically, because then I'm going to mount every single placeable block onto that wall, except the oak wood block, because of course that's what the wall's made out of. But anyways, continue. So we're gonna go to construction. We're gonna grab that wood, that good old oak wood planks, and we're gonna start placing blocks. Here we go. It's gonna be a long one, and hopefully you don't get a seizure from me going this fast. If you are sensitive to this, don't watch this video. This is actually going to be the short part of the video, believe it or not. The longer part is when I'm placing those blocks down and stuff. Oop, went too far. Wait, just one moment. Okay, that's okay. Alright. I thought I saw something. Okay. Okay. Well, this is probably the boring part of the video. Okay, well, I just decided to go ahead and cut to the chase here. Um, cut the video, cut the part of the video out where I'm just building that wall. Hopefully, that is if I can get my editing software to work properly. So if that part of the video is still in there when it goes on YouTube, that means my video editing software was not cooperating. But anywho, I built this enormous wooden wall all the way up to level 100. Ta-da! See? Level 100. So, yeah, level 100. Pretty high up, but not as high as my house and the temples and other stuff. But it's pretty high compared to ground level right here. Anyways, that's that big wall. So now what I'm going to do is start the fun part. We're gonna do the fun part now. We're gonna just start with the wood. So we have plenty of those. So we're just gonna start placing these planks down. And I mean, we're just gonna start at the bottom. We're just gonna have one of each. And so we're gonna go from left to right and bottom to the top. Is the way I'm gonna do it. And they're gonna be like one space, you know, they're gonna be spaced apart like that. If I can't, I mean, I should be able to, but if I can't fit every single Minecraft block on this big old wall, then I can make it bigger, but they should definitely be able to fit. You know, I guess I can do these and the fences and stuff. Nah, those would be in I can do those in the every placeable item video. Well, besides the blocks. So stairs would not count as a block. It has to be a full block. So, but that does include glass, I feel like. So we're gonna do the glass. We're gonna have to do that a few at a time because there's a lot of it. A lot of different types of glass. But we're just gonna keep at it. Now we're gonna clear the hotbar real quick and get some more glass. Wait, did I have all of them? I do, okay. Okay. So, wow, that takes up a lot of space, and that's just the wood and the glass. Wow. Yeah, I can see how that might build up after a while. If you build up, if you know what I mean. Anyways, enough with the jokes. I'm just gonna do them in order. So, and then I'm gonna clear that. I'm gonna do all of these decorative stones. So I'm thinking that I'm going to leave out the infested stone, just because of the fact that they're infested, even though they are full blocks. I have the alternative, which is just a regular block right here, so I don't really need to do that. I got the gilded blackstone. That's pretty cool looking. But anyways, now we're gonna pick up where we left off in here. Grab that. Minus. And then do that. And then... I cannot fit all the sandstone in there in my hotbar. So I'll just do those separately from these. Now I'll do the sandstone. Oh boy, I did not clear my hotbar correctly. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright. Oh, and also, since we're mounting them on the wall and we're not building a wall with these blocks, I won't be able to place those blocks that are affected by physics, actually affected by physics, you know, such as sand and gravel, basically. That's what I'm saying. But I guess the sandstone got a little bit, you know, got cut short a little bit. Oh, that was unfortunate. So now we're just gonna keep going. Do the super valuable blocks down. Wait, did the emerald block... Wait, the texture got changed at some point. Remember the old emerald block texture? Remember it used to look like, it was like the pattern that, Prismarine... Look, come over here and look at this. It was like this texture. Remember that? When it was like this texture, when the emerald block was like that? Oh, man. I just noticed that I have never used an emerald block in my construction at all, so I never even knew. I thought it was still that texture. I never knew they changed the texture like this. Wow, now I just sound like a noob. But seriously, it used to be like that texture, and now it's this. Anyways, continue. Okay. I'm doing this in order of the menu, basically, is what I'm doing. I love the sound effects of these. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, wait, that's cool, too. You hear that? That actually sounds like bones clacking against each other. Wow, that's cool. It's the bone block. Anyways. Continue. Okay, we'll do the wool after that. After these couple of blocks. That's a lodestone. Anyways, okay, the wool, right. Hopefully lightning doesn't strike it, because then it will catch on fire and disappear. So just hopefully that won't happen, but, you know, we might be a little bit unlucky. I don't know. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to end up doing a part 2 of this one. I think I'm gonna end it at the 30-minute mark, like the last video, because it's definitely gonna take a long time. This is the longer part, but less boring part of the video, because the placing of the wood was faster, but it was also more boring. Anyways, we need more wool. Okay. Okay. Now, here we go again. So we can't do carpet. We can do concrete powder. What's the difference between concrete powder and concrete? I mean, are they affected by gravity? Really? Well, we'll find out, I guess. Oh, they are. They're like sand. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh. I knew there was some other gravity block, but I wasn't quite sure. So what happens when you mix these with water? Does it turn into concrete? Oh, it does. Look at that. When you mix it with water, it turns into concrete. I did not know that. So if you like made a road out of the concrete powder and then just like poured water on it, it would create concrete. That's cool. I mean, there's really no purpose in really doing that unless you're in survival and wanting to make concrete. But I don't know. Not really. There's no purpose for that in creative. I guess we can do clay. And then all the terracotta. Okay. You know, and as I update, you know, as I update Minecraft, you know, on this world, you know, I'm going to have to, you know, because there's going to be new blocks added in and stuff, and I'm going to have to update these displays too. You know, so this wall will just keep getting taller and taller as Minecraft is updated. Because as you know, I have a next-gen console, and you know, Minecraft is going to be. I mean, yes, you can play Minecraft PS4 edition on PS5. So, and you can play Xbox One and Xbox 360 edition for that matter on Xbox the Xbox Series. So I don't really know if Mojang is planning on dropping another version, you know, a special version of Minecraft for those, you know, for PS5, you know, just make a PS5 edition and an Xbox Series edition. But I hope they do. I really hope they do. But you know, so but the thing is, I would have to transfer my worlds from PS4 edition to PS5 edition. Which really I don't mind doing at all. I really don't. It should be pretty easy. They should make it easy, but I think, you know, because Mojang is, you know, partnered with Microsoft, and I think, I don't know if Microsoft has a say in it. I'm not real good on those things. I don't really know much about it, but maybe like Microsoft could convince them to make a more powerful version of Minecraft for their Xbox Series consoles, and their PC, because of Windows. And maybe they can convince Mojang to, get Mojang in on it to make, those new next-gen editions of Minecraft. And then, they think about that, and they're like, well, what about the other next-gen consoles? We might as well do those too. And then they'll make a PS5 edition, and, whatever. It depends on what time they do it, but whatever new Nintendo consoles out then. Which, yeah, once again, it depends on what time they release those. Who knows? They might be working on them in secrecy right now. I have no clue. But hopefully, what I mean by a more powerful... Here, let's get back to this. What I mean by a more powerful version of Minecraft, I mean, like, add in some ray tracing stuff, some cool... Because, like, you can get that on PC through mods and stuff, but, they should bring that stuff to console, the ray tracing and, all those cool features, like that. Because you can make the water look more realistic. I just want it to look better. I like the ray tracing and the make the water actually have waves and look more realistic than it is. I just think that the next gen consoles and the next gen consoles need a new version of Minecraft, and also, not to mention that, but you guys might already know, but spoiler alert, Microsoft is also, well, they should have dropped it already, but Microsoft is also coming out with a new version of Windows, and I don't know if you guys already know that. Depends on if you're, interested in those kind of things. I am myself. They're calling it. It was an internet myth that they were coming out with Windows 11 next, and they're not calling it Windows 11 because I just don't think they like the odd number. 11 is a pretty unattractive number. I mean, they've had odd numbers before, like Windows 7, but 7 is an attractive number, of course. On the other hand, 11 is not. So I think that's maybe why they did that. I'm really not sure, but okay, so it's called, the first part of it is called Windows 10, but you know how much Microsoft loves that letter X. So guess what? It's called Windows 10X. And the X has nothing to do with Xbox. It's gonna have the Xbox, console companion app, of course, but it's not gonna be like a Xbox edition of Windows. It's just a new version of Windows, basically. So that it was supposed to come out actually alongside with all the next-gen consoles. So they would have the next-gen consoles and the next-gen Windows operating system, basically. But it ended up getting delayed, along with other things that Microsoft were involved in, such as the first-party exclusives, such as Halo Infinite, also got delayed. But, so they delayed they delayed the releasing of Windows 10X from late 2020 to holiday 2020 to they're saying spring 2021. So I'm assuming within the next couple of months they're going to release it. Hopefully it does not get delayed once again. Hopefully. I don't know. They claimed it was because of, you know, I thought they said like COVID complications or so. I don't know. Like they didn't have, their developers and whatever were out. I don't know. I don't know. Every problem that we are having right now is somehow, even indirectly related to COVID. So, excuse me, I just burped. So it's just, yes, it is unfortunate that they had to delay it along with some first-party titles for the Xbox, but it is what it is, and we can't do anything about it. And we just we just hope that it doesn't get delayed again, and we just gotta hope for the best. And they also said it was going to be only on dual-screened devices, but this was not influenced by the public, but Microsoft quickly changed their mind, very quickly, like within a week or two, and decided, oh, we're going to release it on single screen devices first. And I don't really know what the whole dual screen device thing is, but I'm thinking, so the Microsoft Surface Duo, right? Like the dual screen Windows Phone thing that they came out with, that some people consider a tech fail. That I'm thinking they're trying to come out with a bigger version of that is what I think they're referring to. I am not sure. But that's what I'm thinking. I don't know. When I say, because what other device would be dual screen? I mean, like, you can have a PC hooked to like multiple monitors, but you can do that with just regular Windows 10. I just I don't understand what they're referring to by dual screen devices. But luckily, those single screen devices, such as our good old laptops and the Surface tablets and stuff, and those are going to have the new operating system first. So that's good, because and that's why I'm actually, I might end up changing my mind. I really don't know. I'm actually do not have my own. I don't have my own personal laptop. I have access to a PC that I can do editing on for like a very small amount of editing for these videos. Sometimes I just don't do editing at all. But I don't have my own personal PC, and I want to go with the laptop because I'm traveling a lot. I'm not traveling a lot. I mean, I'm not out of. I don't know. I just go back and forth from my mom's to my dad's house, so I need my own laptop. Because if I got a PC, I would have to buy two PCs so I could have one at each house, and I really don't want to do that. I just don't. I mean, I could have a setup at both houses and have like a couple of monitors at each house. I mean, I could probably get by with one like ultra wide monitor, or maybe just like one just regular monitor, but I want to have multiple displays is what I'm saying, I guess. So like I could have my PlayStation on one of them, my laptop on the other is what I'm saying. So, but then the thing about that is I bring my PlayStation back and forth, so I could just bring my laptop back and forth, because that doesn't really take much room up in my backpack. Just throw it in. But I I just I'm waiting for the new version of Windows. It's long story short is what I'm waiting for the new version of Windows, and then I thought about, well, when the new new version of Windows comes out, it's going to be expensive, right? Because it's going to be all new, and but really, if you think about that, it's really not going to be that expensive, because of course it's going to be at least $100, for the operating system itself, but because Microsoft's going to charge that. But what I'm saying is, you really you could get like a cheap laptop. I mean, my max budget is $500, but you could get a cheaper, under $500 laptop from like, the best brands like Dell or HP. I'm actually fine with going with Acer or Asus, but maybe Lenovo. I don't really know a lot about Lenovo, but any off-brand, I consider anything besides that off-brands, such as Gateway, which is the absolute worst PC brand that exists ever. Gateway PCs are terrible, super low grade, low power systems, but trust me, I do not plan on getting one of those. That would be terrible. That would be really bad. But I'm just waiting for that new operating system to come out, and if it came out late 2020, I would probably already have a laptop. I probably would. And I might have decided to get the laptop instead of a PS5 and just keep my PS4 Pro. But, I just went ahead and got the PS5 anyways. So, yeah, that's what I ended up doing. But, sometimes I make impulsive decisions. I actually said, like, 2 months before the PS5 dropped, and I was like, I'm gonna keep my PS4 Pro for like a couple years until the price goes down on the PS5. And then I thought to myself, I gotta contain myself. I can't let the excitement get to me. I have to be humble. I have to be proud of the fact that I have a PS4 Pro and it's not a PS4 Slim or just a regular old PS4. But then about a week before the PS5 launched, and I'm like, I can't contain it anymore. I have to buy one. So I went ahead and got one. Well, my mom actually bought it for me from Walmart, but then I just paid her back for it. But because she ended up ordering it after I had to go to bed, because it was, if you remember, it was a Thursday. It was so for me it was a school night, so I had to get my good sleep in. But so that's how I ended up getting it, and that was out of pure luck too, because there are still people like YouTubers. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, but there's YouTubers and a whole bunch of people that are still having such a hard time getting their hands on one, because Sony themselves are having, just because of COVID complications, workers being out, that they simply can't produce them fast enough. The demand has skyrocketed so much. They sold from, okay, so the amount of PS4s that were sold in the first quarter of the launch, right after the launch, the amount of those PS4s is the equivalent of how many PS5s they sold in just a few days. That's how high the demand was. It was absolutely bonkers. And it's hard to wrap your mind around, really, how many they had to produce. Like, they're still working around, like, it's nonstop to get these things out. And they're still having, people are still having a hard time getting their hands on one, because, this is worldwide. It's not just the US and Japan. This is worldwide. So, so hopefully the demand for the PlayStations calms down a little bit, by the end of this, year. Because there are a lot of people that want these, like, really bad. So, and it's also, I feel like it's also a minor flaw on Sony's part, because they completely underestimated the amount of people that would want a PS5. Because, like I said, the amount of PS5s that were sold compared to the PS4s, like, right off the bat, it's crazy. So, I just think that we got to, we just got to get Sony has to get the production of the PS5s going a little bit faster. Get the supply going a little bit more so we can lower the demand a bit. But yeah, I think that they'll have it under control in the coming years. Definitely by the end of this year, but the coming years, will definitely be more. It will be easier to get your hands on a PS5 in the coming years after this. That's why some people just tell themselves they're simply going to wait until a year after launch to buy one for themselves. But there's also all those people that want one right off the bat. So, and I happen to be one of those people, and I just was simply lucky enough to be able to get one, really. Because I was discouraged by people too, and they're like, you're not going to get one. Well, turns out I was lucky enough to get one, but, I'm just, I remember when it showed up at my door, I was so stoked. I was like, and my parents, because I was at my mom's house, but, my mom and my stepdad were gone they went on a hunting trip to Oklahoma, and I was here, because my grandma and grandpa live with us, and I was here, and I was just downstairs, and I was chilling, watching some TV, and I hear the doorbell, and I'm like, oh, who could that be? So I go upstairs, and because obviously my grandma could have looked and out the door and stuff, but I was I don't know, I just guess I wanted to see who it was, and it was the FedEx guy. And I'm like, I'm like, okay. So I brought the package in, and I set it down, And I went and I asked my grandma, I said, did you order something that shipped through FedEx? And she's like, no. So I'm like, huh, it must be, my mom or my stepdad's. Well, it turns out, I carried it downstairs, and I set it aside, but while I was setting it down, I noticed who it was addressed to, and it said my name on it. I'm like, no way, that darn thing came early, didn't it? And so, because it was supposed to, so I ordered it right on launch day. If you remember, it was November 12th, right? So it arrived at my house on the 18th, and it wasn't supposed to get here. Walmart.com said it was supposed to get here on the 28th. So I was expecting to wait 10 more days for it to arrive. And so I don't know if they did that on purpose just to like surprise me. I don't know. Maybe that they do that to everybody. I have no clue. But I'm like, because when we ordered it, I'm like, dang, why does it take so long for it to ship? But I don't know. It just got here 10 days early, or they just completely overestimated the the time it took to ship. I don't know. But no, I to this day I never found out why they overestimated that like that. But I am so happy that I have it. I really am. The first when I opened the box, I was so excited that I was completely like, I was shaking. I was so freaking excited. I was like, oh my gosh, I literally had to admire the box itself, like not even open it, just admire the box itself for about 5 minutes when I got it out of the FedEx box. And and then once I got done admiring the box, I finally decided to start unpackaging it, because I'm like, it was like I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, so I'm like, I want to get this thing set up before I go to bed. And I'm pretty sure it was on a weekend, so I would have been going to bed like 9, 10 o'clock. But I'm like, I want to get this set up and play it for a little while before I go to bed. So I started unpackaging it, and as soon as I open the box, I'm greeted by the PS5 logo, and it was actually the front of the user manual, I think it was. I still have the PS5 box in case I end up getting rid of it for some reason, which I don't plan to do for a very long time. So hopefully the box doesn't get damaged between now and then, but I'm planning on keeping it for at least like 7 years. I really don't know. Because by the time Sony releases a new console, I'm probably going to be at college or something. So, I think that, or I don't know, maybe if they release a PS5 Pro before then, I really doubt they'll do a PS5 Slim, because of how big the PS5 is itself. And gosh, if they do a PS5 Pro, that means, looking at the regular PS4 compared to the PS4 Pro, PS5 Pro is going to be absolutely massive, if they even release one of those. But, I don't... From PS5 onwards, the whole PS5 edition, whole PS5 generation of consoles, I think from that point on, consoles are getting I want the consoles to get smaller. I mean, not just PlayStation, but Xbox too. Like, I want technology to just simply take up less space. Because, for those people that buy a PS5 and realize that it doesn't fit in their TV stand, on its side, it's like, dang it. I forgot to look at the specs, measure my TV stand, that moment. I myself, I don't have a problem with that. I very rarely set my PS5 on its side. I usually have it standing up so I can admire it some more. But at my mom's house, I have a setup where it's inside of like a cabinet, but the cabinet is tall, so it fits the PS5 inside it. And I just have the door open so it won't overheat. There was one time where I turned it on and I totally forgot to leave the door open, and it actually nearly overheated. And I'm like, looking at how, Sony's like, oh man, the ventilation is so good, so much better than PS4. It's so much quieter. And I'm like, I don't, it wasn't even, the cabinet wasn't even totally closed. It was like cracked open a little bit. And I just, I'm just in the middle of playing Minecraft, and it pops up and it says, your PS5 is too hot. You better, get better ventilation or something like that. And I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like, well, what is doing that? So I look down and I'm like, oh, the door's shut. So I open the door, and the dang thing, I have never, I never expected it to be, to be able to get that loud. It sounded like the PS4 all over again. I'm like, oh my gosh. So the fan on that thing just completely revved all the way up to like max, and it was about to overheat. Luckily, it cooled down enough where it didn't totally just shut down. But I was scared. I was like, I don't want to ruin it. I just bought this. I don't want to ruin it. But of course, it didn't ruin it, because if your PS4 overheated, it wouldn't ruin it, right? The only time you've had a PlayStation console get ruined from overheating is that PS3 that most of us are trying to forget about, because that's 2 generations behind us. But we'll just not talk about that. We won't talk about that generation of consoles, specifically the PS3 and the Xbox 360's overheating issues. So, yeah, that was a major fail on both PlayStation's and Xbox's part. But back to the current generation of consoles. The PS5, some tech YouTubers have actually done a review. They've compared the cooling, like how cool the Xbox Series X compares, how cool the Xbox Series S and X is compared to the PS5. And the PS5 actually stayed significantly cooler, because the Xbox Series X, the air is passing through the console vertically, compared to the PS5, which the air on the PS5 is passing through the console horizontally. So that actually makes a difference, because on the Xbox Series X, it has little feet on it, but the air has to suck up through the bottom. So, if you don't have the feet on the Xbox Series X, if you lose those rubber feet off of it, man, you're in trouble. Because those are crucial in helping the Xbox cool. While with the PS5, it just flows in the front and goes out the back, and as long as you don't have something, as long as you don't have the PS5 like surrounded in a cabinet like what happened to me, you're not going to have any problems. So, that's a major win for Sony on that part. And I understand how Microsoft was trying to go with a simple look for the Xbox Series, both the X and the S, but I think that it's just too simple for me. It's just too simple. If you get a next-gen console, automatically you're going to want to show it off to your friends that don't have it, and you just can't help yourself. I did it myself. I didn't brag about it because I wasn't being rude about it, but I said, I surprised my friends. They didn't know that I had a PS5, and they came over to my house, and I told them I had a PS5, and they're like, no way. I don't believe you. I'm like, come see it. And they're like, okay, we're going to prove you wrong. They went downstairs and saw it. They're like, oh, you actually do have one. Are you sure that's not fake? And I'm like, okay, if you think it's fake, pick the console up, turn it over, and you're going to see the Sony logo, the Sony PlayStation logo right there. And they're like, yep, it's genuine. Okay. I kind of feel bad now because I don't have one. That's why. So, I guess that's kind of how that went. And, so, automatically, you just want to, you get a next-gen console, you're going to want to show it off to your friends, and, that's why I feel like the Xbox Series